Hi everyone, welcome to the July 2019 edition of Farsight's Time Cross Project. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Courtney Brown, Director of the Farsight Institute. Now we at the Farsight Institute have a tremendous show for you today, the Baltic Sea Anomaly. Now this underwater anomaly has puzzled so many people since it was discovered in a sonar image taken by the Swedish Ocean X team in June 2011. Now, the Ocean X team normally hunts for treasures found in old sunken boats, and they use sonar to help them find the boats. But this image that they took really looks odd. They captured an image of what appears to be a roundish object on the bottom of the Baltic Sea. And the image also seems to suggest there was some kind of skid mark on one side of the object, suggesting that long ago something may have crashed and skid along the surface that is now at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. Furthermore, it has been reported that subsequent visits by the same team to the site resulted in anomalous electromagnetic interference with their equipment as they approached the location directly above the anomalous object. So, what we have here is a clear mystery, and we sent 3 highly trained and experienced remote viewers to take a look at the anomaly, and as always, all under totally blind conditions. But first, for those of you who subscribe to our YouTube channel Farsight Press, YouTube now requires people to also click on a notifications bell that appears to the right of the subscribe button only after someone has clicked on the subscribe button. So just clicking on the subscribe button doesn't do much. It is not much different from, say, a like. So if you are following our activities and YouTube publications, please go back and click on the notifications bell so that YouTube can send you an email when we publish a new video. So if you are subscribing for the first time, first click on the subscribe button and then you will see the notifications bell, and then click on that bell. And thanks for following our activities. And as I have often stated in the past, remember that no one can use remote viewing to claim something is 100% correct without first obtaining corroborating physical evidence. But remote viewing data can be very persuasive when done well, and it can help guide the search and interpretation of physical evidence. So, raising questions is really what remote viewing is all about. Without remote viewing, we are dependent on other people to tell us what is real and what is not real. And, well, personally, I think there are a lot of reasons not to blindly trust anyone. One last thing before we show you the results of our Baltic Sea Anomaly investigation. Many people have been asking about some of our remote viewers who you see regularly on our monthly Time Cross show. People have been asking what these viewers do when they are not remote viewing. Well, in general, most of our viewers work full-time at Farsight, honing their skills in a huge variety of projects, some of which are public, such as those which you see here on YouTube and on our website, and some of which are private. But our viewers are truly interesting, intelligent, and talented people in their own right, independent of their work at Farsight. And the viewers themselves have been asking us to share with our audience a bit more about who they are as interesting people, so that the audience does not see them as one-dimensional stereotypes. For example, Melena is an artist, and some of her paintings are simply spellbinding. Kahmia Dunson is an expert in vibration and crystals. Trudy is a model and teacher, and Princess Janae is an actor who has played leading roles in a variety of high-profile theatrical productions in the Atlanta area. But to better show you a glimpse into their world, we decided to begin a new feature in our Time Cross show, and which we start with today's episode. When we introduce each viewer, we are going to show a brief 30-second clip focusing on some of their other work. It's fun, entertaining, and it's educational. And now, on to this month's Time Cross project, the Baltic Sea Anomaly. And starting with Melena, then Trudy, and then Kahmia Dunson, this is what we found out. Hold on to your seats. This gets weird.
Today I will be exploring target 71685534. From From below, I feel wetness, a lot of water. No, I don't say that. And I'm also seeing the structure above the water. I'm seeing a lot of blue, greenish, and brown colors. Structure here, which is man-made, looks pretty old. Seems to be floating, so it's not a land structure. Feels like a water structure. And it seems to be metallic and also made with natural materials as well, but mostly metallic and grayish color. I hear a lot of loud noises, like a loud horn noises, very strong, very like have a deep ring to it, coming from the structure, like a loud horn sounds. I'm also hearing bell noises as well. This structure is definitely a boat. Now that I have my view of the structure is a large gray metallic old style boat. Seems to be above water. Water seems very deep, like an ocean, so I'm getting this big ship on top of the ocean. The temperature outside, I'm feeling a bit cold. Then again, moderate. It's like a lot of wind pushing through, but it's pretty cool outside. Let's see where this boat is going to, or what is it doing here in the middle of this ocean, large body of water here. Here I see a structure and water. Feels old and metallic, and it looks old. Feels man-made. Seeing a lot of red and blue colors. Has a very odd round shape. This structure has a shiny point on top. It has a round, odd shape. This looks like a clock almost. Has a blue-red tint to it, and also gray. Around the structure, I see a lot of blue on each side. The structure seems like it's appeared to be underwater. This structure is definitely underwater. So I have this structure that is deep underwater. Seems to be old. From the looks of it, seems very damaged and dense in the area, like on the side. Let's look inside of the structure. Inside of the structure is very spacious, have a lot of seats. Looks very fancy, like a living room. Seems to still have its operation and controls on the side and the front where I believe the main part to control the structure, and also outside the structure. Outside the structure, seems like it can't really function underwater, but it can power up too. Structure can possibly power on underwater. Seems like a structure only made for above, not necessarily underwater, but it looks like it's stuck underwater. But everything inside doesn't seem damaged as bad. So now that I'm deep underwater, I'm going to move up to see where am I. So here I am below, underwater, and here's my surfers on top. So here I am. Now I move all the way up. For my view, I see land-water interface in the distance. And I'm also seeing a structure above the water. A very large structure. This is a man-made surface boat. This structure looks like a man-made modern ship. It has subjects on the ship. The structure is wide, gray, silver, brown, metallic. The subjects on the boat wearing a casual uniform clothes. The uniform isn't like it seems like a fisherman work uniform, not necessarily like too nice and fitted. It's mostly something to get dirty in. These seems like normal fishermen, but yet workers. There seem to be above just selling, possibly looking for things. So now that I know it cannot operate underwater, it can control itself. It seems like it came from a different environment. The structure seems like it's been underwater for quite a long time. The way it looks, it doesn't seem like a long time because it's so unique and different. Have that damaged areas on the structure, like it been hit, which it fell or dive in the water. And the object seems to be from a different time zone, and the outside looks very peculiar and unique, and the inside definitely look vintage and very old school, just by the way the seats are and the cushions. Like it just look very, very fancy and just different, not too modern, just from a different time zone, honestly. So I'm gonna take another look of the structure, a better look at the inside. Again, I have this irregular curve shape. The middle of the structure has this circle. I believe it's like the floor of the structure. looked like a sewer top or somewhat. The walls of the structure has like a light tint. There are seats around in circular motion, like it's have seats like around the center of the structure. There's a lot of handlebars around each corner of the structure. There's a lot of buttons and controls that operates this structure. I'm feeling a lot of cold and push and just a tilt, like the object just tilt in the water, like the object was like covered in ice or frozen to death. This is what I'm seeing, feeling. The object just like fell in the water, just went down, damaged by the coldness and the ice from wherever it landed. It's kind of weird, but I got this Arctic type of climate, and the structure just stayed down below in freezing cold, deep water. Didn't have the strength or power to, escape through that. But where this object came from before all this, wow, so this target seems to have been a man-made structure made in a dry area. Feels like an American object, man-made, like a man-made spaceship from like the West region in America. In the dry, hot land, this structure was built a while back. So man-made spaceship. Wow. Okay, so this object, well, a man-made spaceship carried subjects above the sky as high as possible. I wouldn't say too high. It doesn't seem like it went out of space, but I get the feel that it went above, soaring everywhere, fast as heck. Structure crashes in a cold environment. Looks like Alaska or Antarctica, just a very cold, really cold environment. The structure just seems to have been damaged there, stuck in ice, covered in ice, just frozen to death and fell in water. Seemed like it emerged in the water and just stayed there. And haven't been discovered in years, but subjects in that structure aren't there anymore. And that was the last of that structure until it was found in a very cool, moderate temperature water where it wasn't too cold, but And that's all I have for this target, 7168-5534.
Today, I will be exploring target 26664794. Whoops.
It's okay.
Basic gestalts are subjects, water, and structures. In this environment, there's an extensive amount of water. A large body of water tastes very salty, but it's still clean and clear. I see colors of blue, gray, and black. I can see movement and in a downward motion into the water or the extensive water. And I feel lots of pressure the more deeper down the movement goes. There's structures on top of the water and there's structures underneath the water. There's subjects on top of the surface of the water as well as subjects underneath the water. There's multiple subjects and multiple structures, both on top and underneath extensive water. I can hear voices and talking and conversations, but they're not in English dialects or English languages. The structure underneath the water it's capable of moving, but it's dormant. There is no movement. It's underneath the water, but it's still. In the pressure I feel when I'm thinking of the water, it's like deep below sea level. It contains subjects and the structure underneath the water contains subjects, but it's very difficult to get inside of the structure. It's very large, and the colors are gray and black, and the structure is kind of old. It basically blends in with the environment underneath the water like camouflage. But the structure is just old and dark and gray, and it's capable of moving very fast, but at the moment it's still or dormant. The structure is completely complex. Not just a regular structure, more like a structure that it's capable of containing more than just one subject. The subjects that are inside of this structure are wearing uniforms. They are black. These uniforms are on male subjects. These male subjects are mostly inside of the structure underneath the water, deep underneath the water. The outside environment around the structure blends in with this dark, black, old, large, round or dome-topped shaped structure. Inside has many hallways and doors and multiple hidden rooms and machines. There's lots of sounds, there's lots of seats, there's lots of subjects. But they're mainly wearing dark black uniforms, and they're males mostly. And a continuous flow of non-English language voices come screaming in my mind, screaming. Structures on top of the surface as well. There are structures on top of the water. The structure I visualize on top of the water is a boat. It is a moving structure that moves very fast in multiple directions. It's a large structure on top of the surface of the water, but there are other boats around this as well. Like multiple moving structures on top of the water, like boats. I had to pause my drawing because I continued to hear a non-English language that is like ferociously going through my mind at the moment, and it sounds Spanish or Latin-like. So I'm going to deduct Latin as the language. There's boats, multiple boats, or moving structures, let's say that, on top of the water. This extensive body of water that tastes a little bit salty, underneath the ocean, or let's deduct ocean. Underneath the water is a dormant, domed-like structure, possibly a vehicle, that blends in underneath the water like a camouflage, and it blends in with the environment around this stagnant energy of a vehicle structure that's just stuck at the bottom of the water and not moving whatsoever for a very long time, while other structures are moving above. Originally, the structure underneath the water was a non-surface structure. This non-surface structure was flying energetically and moving across and downward. Deep downward. And the structure goes into the water. Structure goes into the water and it stops working. It doesn't work. Once it goes deep, deep down underneath the pressure of the water, it stops working. The structure goes deep down underneath the water, and I feel like it stops working. Just slowly stops working. The subjects before, the people, are no longer in it. They're trying to get out of it. I feel like the people are no longer inside. This structure underneath the water is abandoned. I feel like since this structure stopped working, the people inside are no longer alive. The structure had a mechanical problem. The mechanical problem was caused by another structure forcing energy onto the structure while it was already above the surface of the water. Some subjects inside of the structure are dead. Other subjects tried to escape this structure while it was going underneath the water. Due to the mechanical problem, this structure could no longer move as fast as it used to. Some subjects drowned, and some subjects escaped alive and got out of the water. Once this structure was slowly sinking, the structure sank slowly to the bottom of the ocean, and the cause of the problem is energy forced upon it by another structure. Well, some kind of energy causing it to drop from the sky. And that is all I have for target 26664974.
Of darkness and light, sorrow, sadness, and despair. All I have is your love and your light, and I'm not going anywhere. I never thought that I would fall so hard, but that's exactly what I did.
Today we'll be exploring target 36524817. My basic gestalts here are water, structures, and subjects. Okay, I've got sounds of water, very natural sounds, and the base surface looks like an irregular topography. The ground is like a softy, like sandish kind of texture. And then the sky kind of looks reflective, so it's like, it kind of feels like I'm getting like rained on, like a monsoon, like I'm underwater. Okay, I've got surface structures here, and I've also got subjects inside the surface structure. And then just really like hilly backdrop as well. So here I've got this structure, and then this is kind of the reflective surface that I have as well. And then this is the sandy kind of textured surface that I have as well. Okay, so here I've got the base surface, which feels like a natural sand. And then I've got this surface structure and this reflective surface on top. I see colors of blues and golds, and it's just very wet here. Okay, and I hear like talking and like sounds of machinery, and it kind of looks like this is like a fortress underwater. Okay, so there's stuff floating around in the water, subjects, activity here. It's a lot of movement by my subjects as well. Okay, so looking up, I see this reflective surface, and then this surface structure that I have, it's not moving, but it feels like it is capable of movement. So this is a non-surface structure on this base surface. So I'm getting the feeling that I'm like underwater, like in a lake or like in the ocean, because it feels like a pretty big surface structure under here. Okay, so this is just giving me the feeling of like, the Titanic, or like a car crash at the bottom of a lake or something, because this thing is just so big and it moves, and it's just sitting at the bottom of this ocean lake thing, like the Titanic. Okay, I've got this structure that is like balloon shaped almost, and there's subjects kind of like outside of it, just like a few subjects. And the structure is a hollow structure, and the outside kind of feels like slimy in a sense, like it's got natural life growing on top of it. And again, this structure, it's not moving. It feels like it's stuck here, and it's been here for a very long time, but it can move. So this is a non-surface structure, and it's smooth, and it feels like it's made out of man-made materials. Okay, so I'm moving to when the structure was last active. Okay, I've got really quick, fast movement, and below me I've got like mountains, irregular topography. There's like a distant base surface, and I just hear like talking and subjects. Okay, so I've got like really fast, like kinetic movement here. I've got subjects below, male and female subjects. Or like a mix of male and female. It kind of feels like they're both male and female, like genderless subjects. Okay, and I'm also just getting a lot of cloud dynamics and movement and just structures and subjects everywhere. Okay, now that this structure seems to be located on the base surface on this land, when it was last active, it looks kind of like an upside down hat. So like, so this is what the non-surface structure looks like. It looks like an upside down hat, and it's got like 3 windows or something on the outside that goes around, and it's kind of like the bottom is like this and real thick and wide, and then the top is thinner but also in a circular shape. Okay, and the structure is like the colors of gray and black, like cool toned colors. Okay, just a lot of multi-directional movement here, but it doesn't really feel like the structure is malicious. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything. It just kind of feels like it's going around all over the place. Okay, I see like colors that are like yellow, tan, and it's really like hot outside and humid. And I hear like sound waves, like frequency sound waves. I've also got a few subjects here. And they feel like they're mostly male subjects. Ish. I kind of feel like they're male and female still. And there's no talking, no noises. But when I probe, okay, it kind of feels like these subjects have like heightened senses, because when I probe, I feel like they can feel me, but they can't like see me here. But like they kind of know I'm here. And then I just see this kind of like real industrial looking structure as well. And yeah, okay, that's all I have for target 36524817.
I told you this would be weird. Now, what can we say about this? Well, clearly these remote viewing results seem to suggest that the Baltic Sea anomaly is artificial. Now, personally, I think this may be very likely. But do these results also indicate that the Baltic Sea anomaly is an ancient spaceship? Well, maybe, but unfortunately we can't go that far, at least not yet. You see, we have long known that we can use CGI images as targets, images that we create with our computers with graphics software. The remote viewers perceive these images the same as real physical places, and we often use such images in our science research as a way of controlling many of our experiments. Now, with the Baltic Sea anomaly, once the original sonar image of the anomaly was published, a large number of CGI images of all sorts were published by a small army of fans and devotees. If you Google Baltic Sea anomaly and look at the resulting images, you will see many of these really cool creations. So, I really do not know if the remote viewers are picking up all of this mental activity related to the thoughts of these image creators, or if they are only picking up what is actually at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. However, I do think that the remote viewing results presented here are solid data that suggest that it would be worthwhile to fund physical expeditions to look at this anomaly more closely with all sorts of proper equipment. But you know, maybe you feel that these remote viewing results are more definitive, and you could be right. So please feel free to offer your own interpretations of these data in the discussion area below this video. Well, that is it for this month's edition of Timecross. Thank you so much for watching. Also, I hope you get a chance to watch all of our other Timecross episodes, which you can find on our website. Also, be sure to watch our recent full-length mysteries project, The Secret Apollo Moon Missions, Moses Beyond Exodus, The War in Heaven, and also Tunguska Complexity, Remote Viewing Area 51, the Roswell UFO crash, the investigations into the 9/11 events, the assassinations of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King, the psychology of Adolf Hitler, and some amazing explorations into UFOs and extraterrestrial life. As always, all Farsight remote viewing work is done by highly trained remote viewers working solo under totally blind conditions, with no communication between any of the remote viewers. So Farsight projects are nothing short of amazing, and there is nothing like it anywhere else. And remember, when you watch our mysteries projects, you are helping us at Farsight do our work, including the funding for our Timecross project, which we offer free to the public, but which costs us a few $1,000s to do each month. We have no other significant sources of income to pay the bills. So, you really help when you follow and watch our activities and research. Without you watching our projects, we would not exist. And finally, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Farsight Press, to keep up with the latest. And after you click on the subscribe button, please click on the notifications bell that appears after you subscribe. Otherwise, the subscribe button doesn't do much. You can find information about all of our present and past activities on our website. Also, on our website, please sign up for our free email newsletter where we announce all of our major projects. It is actually best to do both things, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and then to sign up for our free email newsletter to be sure you hear about our new releases. We never send out spam, just announcements of new releases, so it is worth it to keep tuned. Stay ahead of the curve. Let the mainstream fade in the dust. Be there now.